The challenges of the addressing, which is the reformations and its coordination of the different role in its regulatory, which is the achievements about the different service sectors, which is the inclusivity and its referendums, which have contribution of 54 and 56% of the Indian GDP, which is curiously part of the employment opportunity and it's economically addressing the field, the defining for the challenges and its associations, and it's a comprehensive, which is the institutional association for the structural, which is the reforming the neutralization, and it's a prospectus for their ideologically how to different comprehensive and it's socially and it's economically, which is the neutral efficiency, the procedures about the neutralization and its aspect of the challenges in different prospectus for their ideologically, which is the comprehensive and it's socially, which is the ideologically and it's part of the approach. We are just defining the prospectus for their ideologically and its role in its regulatory, which is the ideologically and different referendums and its inclusivity for their challenges, describing the things and different phenomena as structural scenario events, which coordinates and it's a consolidated as structural. It is the process about the structural and its regulatory, but defining the process which follow the conservative mindset and its fragmentation for the different role and its defining. It is basically the try of a different approach and its efficiency. The navigation and its socially, which is the comprehensive advantage for their defining, just like the three process, which first is the lacking behind the approach. The second one is the exercise of a different coordination approach. The third approach is the mindset, which is happening throughout your coordination, not ordination, coordination, which is the achievements about the lateral and its efficiency. It is the defining and its challenges for their growing and its inclusivity for their referrals and its ideologically how to different gesture of the society, the comprehensive and its socially and its in economically, which is the procedures about the four and its high hidden for the transformation. It is basically the transformation for the coordination mindset, which is achieve different prospective things in their lives, just to be regulated and the helping natures, which economically empowerment and its procedures for their different managements, curiously discipline approach and optimistic about the working, and it's basically for their frustrations about their structural and its role and its regulatory. It is the fundamentals natures and its amusement about the coordinations, which is the achievements about the structural role and its regulatory, which is the comprehensive and its slightly advantage. How to defining and its association, just be the lateral efficiency driving the process and its structural and its regulatory advantage. It is the core and its efficiency for their challenges and its achievements about their role in its regulatory for their challenges. How to the defining association, just about the lateral and its a growth efficiency, which is the different level of the transformations, growing and its challenges, basically for the different historically perspectives, medieval perspective, ancient perspective, having for the different events and its societal perspective, political, economically, and its modernity, how the different tools and its technology associate for the working, basically for the apply, and how to the supplementary for their coordination and its structural. It is basically for the applicable of different structurals and its challenges for their achievements about their working, and it's basically for their transformation. It is the working for the slightly, which is the happening throughout the time, and it's a phase which is going throughout the structure for different schemes and its policy, which is regulated through the rulers, and how they are sustaining their cultural prosperity, spirituality, coordinations and having for their slightly approach and its advantage. It is basically for their transformations and its requirement for their phase and its growing for their advantage, which is the different geographically advantage and its politically associations and its challenges for their achievements about their working association. It is basically for their transforming the neutralization and its growth prospectus for their ideologically, which is the slightly advantage like the modern technology which is helping for the different perspectives, like the primary sectors, secondary sectors, and also for the tertiary sectors, which is more and more economically comprehensive association. But it is the it is the advantage and also the disadvantage which is going throughout the world, having for the unemployment, which is the biggest challenges for the world, and the privacy which also included for the digital technology advantage. But despite of the changing of technology, growth adaptations, management for their requirement, and it's basically for your comprehensive approach how to sustaining the technology and how to accommodations for the technology growth. And it is basically for your क्या क्या बोलते हैं वो, your disciplines, your responsibility to having the technology and how to utilizing for the modern technology for helping in different perspective of work and its work cultural association. Not only association but also determine the prospective levels of the achievements advantage manifestations, and it's growing for their advantage, which which is the advantage for their working, and it's basically the process for the delighted structurals. I just try to six at least 3 months, before 3 months I just started to conversations between some of topics which is relevant, and I just we try to bring out the proper way of the suggestions and explanation which have any topics and it's determining. But despite of just try to learning in different way and it's scope for their advantage, just try to improving the communications skills in different prospect, just improving the way of word how to adding in different way and how to the way of the coordination of different word which is circulations, and it's having for their advantage for the working, which is basically for the understanding of word what is the story behind and what is the perspective of words, aesthetics, which is basically for their understanding concept. It is the challenges for their concepts and it's defining the different way of the association, and it's growing for their challenges and it's economically having for their management and its requirement. It is the scope for their challenges and it's having for their defining and its association. It is basically for their determining and it's comprehensive socially, and it's also have the economically, which is the slightly advantage prospective for their ideologically and its advantage for their working and its a comprehensive socialization. Basically different way and its challenges for their working and its defining association. The challenges for their defining and its associative for their comprehensive and its socially and its economically procedures. Defining and its a comprehensive for their ideologically and its part of the approach. The navigation of the society and a way for their challenges, the way for their association and its challenges for their comprehensive advantage, socially and its defining for their association. We have just tried to accelerations of work, the challenges for their basically advantage and its growth efficiency. It is challenges for their growth efficiency and it's defining for their absolute way of the majority, and it's challenges for their defining and its associations, which is the determining for their prospective advantage. the way for their growth and its advantage for their basically transformations, which is the neutral growth and it's basically for their transforming the association and its structural for their growing efficiency. We have just a circulation of work and it's basically for their transformation. Neutral and its guidance for their structural and its resources about their different absolute way of the majority thinking about their growing and its advantage for their growth efficiency. We have just be the explorations of work and its achievements about the process, which is the guidance and its regulatory association and its defining for their advantage and its resource efficiency. Probably it will be difficult for not only me but also who is not capable of working for the dedicated and way of lacking of skills, like basically for the any service sectors working which is requirement of perfect skills and also for dedication of sitting 8 and 12 hours daily. But in the despite of the challenges, it is just try to how to the regulated of different skills and it's basically for their transactions in the requirement of phase and it's a growth advantage, which is basically for their transaction of the society and its core values and its advantage for their regulatory, which is the challenges for their efficiency. Basically we have the scope and its balance for the regulatory and it's basically for the hungry mindset which is not working. Basically I just we transform the management and its advantage for the process and its requirement the achievements about the regulatory and its growth efficiency. It is the neutralization and it's a process for their requirement and it's a phase for their challenges. It is the basically for their transition of the society and it's a phase efficiency, which is the neutralization and it's a growth perspectives. We have the challenges and it's a perspectives for their ideologically and it's a basically for their transition of the society and its core and it's basically for their transformation, which is happening for their ideologically and it's part of the approach navigation of the society and its challenges for their efficiency for their transformation. Its impact of the economically, which is the highest population country like India and China in including the working cultural also basically advantage when the artificial intelligence and robotics which is growing in the recent past. Probably it will be helping for the humanity, but still we think about to changing for this global market and we are just sustaining the approach and it's a advantage for the growth efficiency, which is basically for their transformation and its requirement for their challenges and its growth for their perspective and its ideologically, which have different government policy and its a scheme which is helping for their integration of working as structural and skills requirement and like India have Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana, which is helping for the improving of skills and it's a different requirement phase for their defining and its association. But the challenges of when you reach out and catch out for the different sustainable and its approaches about their efficiency. Okay, it will be happening goods and okay.